Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show.
Hi, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to my show. Before I start my show, just two things I want to say. First of all, I have my husband Steve sitting here, who is recovering, and you don't mind me saying on the air, from cancer. It's been a long, hard road for you, I know that, but he's able to be on my show today. I don't know if they're showing a picture of you, but anyway, you're here, and welcome back to my show.
Thank you.
And also, Dawn, thank you for the opportunity of letting me sit here and give you messages right now, because we were getting quite a few messages coming through. But the one message that I am for myself that I am getting is that my show is Call Me Zena. And a few people say, well, if you say call yourself Zena, why are you calling yourself Sally? Well, my name is Sally Bernard. But I was told when I was writing my very first book, I was getting this message coming through, when we talk with you, call yourself Zena. So I don't mind either way now. My name is Sally or Zena, but the show is Call Me Zena. Thank you.
As is the name of your book.
As is the name of my book. Thank you, Steve. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to anybody that might want to call in, or right now in the studio, Steve is here, Freddie is going to make his appearance, and Dawn is sitting here. So I'm open to any questions. We seem to be getting a lot of messages today, Dawn.
You've been on a roll today with messages.
Right, so I feel they're very much here. So maybe I'm feeling this, that with the two of you sitting here, and the studio is a little more, I'm not going to say empty, but there's usually some more people. So I feel that the messages right now, either for you, Steve, or for Freddie and Dawn, I'm getting a lot of messages coming through. I just received, and I won't give the name out necessarily, but we got your
my archangel.
Your archangel, who I had no idea. So I think that they're ready. It's like, just like sitting here in the studio, they're like here, and I think I've mentioned that before, in a circle, and they're ready to answer any question that we have, the viewers or anybody here right now in the studio.
Do you think everyone has an archangel that specifically watches over them? I know an angel can watch over many, many people, but are there certain ones that are more prevalent towards certain people than others?
I think we have an individual. I'm going to say not always we name it an archangel. I think that it's that they're slightly, which I am interpreting, higher up than maybe some of, it's just like here, someone that's more spiritually aware would be higher up than maybe someone that is beginning to learn. So yes, we all have that. They don't make their appearance that often. It's like they have, and when I first ended up understanding a little bit of this, I was getting messages that my guide had an apprentice, somebody that was working under him, very similar to here, what you have in the studio, your producers that are learning. It's not all that different on the other side. So an archangel has, if you would say, more experience in doing this and handling people that are here on earth. But I know it sounds strange, but I get so many messages, my messages, and I need the validation just as many as anybody else, but I get names, which you have seen very often, to give me the validation that they are definitely around the person that I'm talking with, because I question it just like anybody else would. Am I able to do this? I'm very grateful, which we were talking about, that I am able to do this. I try to put a positive light on everything that we were talking about earlier on in the show. I believe it's very important if we can, because they like the positivity here on earth, because they're trying to help us. They don't want to put a whole lot of negativity there. They feel like they're not doing their job, so to speak.
Now, do the same angels or guides follow you from lifetime to lifetime? Because the name you gave me, I know, was in a past lifetime.
Yes, I believe they do. Unless sometimes, once in a while, they'll incarnate with us, but normally when they're higher up as an archangel, so what we call them, would not necessarily do that, because they feel that their job is more a purpose meaningful to show us the way here. But we have what we call a soul group, and that could, people say, well, just a couple of people. No, I believe it's quite vast. It could be It could be 100 people that we incarnate with or do not incarnate with. It might be every other lifetime. But we are all, so to speak, we stick together in a group. We may call it a bloodline, whatever you feel that, that we're here to learn. It's our choice to be here. So I refer to it sometimes as a bloodline because you have more camaraderie with somebody, you have more in common with that person perhaps in that particular lifetime, and they've been with you in other lifetimes.
You mentioned a few minutes ago that you seem to be more connected lately, and I think I know one of the reasons why. You've been in contact with your good friend Marita more recently, and she's your friend of over 20 years, and she is of like mind with you and kindred spirits, so to speak.
Right.
And she has given you things to watch on YouTube. You've had long conversations, so you're getting back in full touch with that side of you.
Well, I've always, since I've been on the show, I know that has never left me, Steve. But I kind of relax more when I get home because I feel that here is where I'm getting the messages. However, it's important to have that, well, I'm going to say continual. I am in the show, I am in the studio a lot with Marita too, who we are on the same vibrational energy. It's not easy always to find that. Marita, if you're here, I'm shouting out to you, hi. I want to say hello to you. We all can do this. I was lucky to find Marita, as I do with Dawn and Freddie here. I feel that we're also on the same vibrational energy as we are with people that come into our lives. But it's a certain, it's gratitude. I think that's what we were going to call our show, gratitude. It's gratitude that I found someone, say, at the same time, not shortly after I had met my friend Aldo, Marita appeared in my life too. Was that coincidental? No. I was on my journey, but I hadn't opened up as much. So we all help one another. We have a circle, and it could be vast. I'm saying 100, even 200 people. We don't always incarnate at the same time. I'm thinking they're telling me it's even larger than that, because some of them, so to speak, stay behind to help us now on our journey here.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all right.
No, specifically, the one thing that Marita sent you to watch, you came away from watching that so excited, full of glee, and like you've been reincarnated.
It's no different. I mean, you maybe because you noticed it more because it was just the two of us sitting at home. I get the same feeling here. No matter what it is, I will get that excitement because it's no different. Yes, with Marita, we have a great conversation and they get that excitement, but you're probably noticing it more because we were at home and I'm full of that excitement, as Marita does too.
Well, Marita's saying hi with purple hearts.
Oh, okay, thank you, Marita.
So she's writing in right now.
So there you go. You transferred that excitement into my home, as you know, Marita. Okay, I know that if you have a question, I know we go sometimes a little deeper into our conversations here, but right now I'm getting many messages, which you know too, from our guides, as I just got Dawn's guide's name. So if there's anything that you can contribute, if you want to, or anybody here in the studio, if there's anything that you want to ask me, I think we have a lot of people around us right now. Not a lot of people here in the studio, but there are many people from somewhere else.
Linda says she's very happy to see Steve sitting with you as well.
Good.
Hi, Linda.
Does she have a question?
I don't know. Let's see. Do you have a question?
I wanted to ask, when you get messages, and we try to interpret what the messages stand for, is there a learning curve at getting it right? Because if you get it wrong, can you establish that the message was improperly put together? In other words, the definition of what...
In other words, if I'm getting an answer to your question,
right,
I may not be giving it accurately,
or
which is fine.
I may not be understanding what you're giving.
Exactly. But you know what? They know that. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm not going to say good because I hate this ego thing, but I'm able to give names. And because of that, and I give specific names to someone, I feel that I'm definitely on the right track with that person with the message that I'm giving them. I've noticed that even when I first started, when I first got my first person coming to me, and I went to their house, and I'm thinking, will I be able to do this? I had no idea if I was going to be able to. I sat down next to them. I was in the kitchen. I always remember this. And she had a specific question to do with her work, and she had the names of the people that she wanted to know how they were accepting her at work. As we sat down, I got the 2 names immediately of the 2 people that she wanted to get messages from. I mean, they weren't in spirit, they were here. And from then onwards, I think they saw my gratitude for being able to get the names, and they have continued. So I feel that I'm on the right track because I'm able to do it. I'm not even say the right track, I'm with the right person to give the message to. So it goes from there. It's up to us also how we interpret that. Just like they can give the message, the same as here. Someone can tell you something, don't necessarily have to follow it through. It's all up to us.
So even though you're giving us a message, it doesn't mean that we're going to still learn from that message. Well, that could be the message in itself, no?
Exactly. It's up to us, you know. I can tell you many things. And of course, I don't remember always what I've told you. You will. So it's up to you if you want to follow through. You don't, we're here to learn. Hopefully I can guide people into the right direction, that we are getting help in order to be able to learn from our journey here, from people that we can't necessarily see. We feel them. I mean, we were just having that conversation, Dawn, about the goosebumps. You were receiving goosebumps as I was too. That's a validation when you receive these messages. Everybody has a different way of a validation, actually. Mine is definitely, I get cold, I get goosebumps.
Tell me about May 14th, J.C. Dreesen's concert. How do you see that working out?
I see it successful. As the last one that I attended, I think it was really successful. I think that she's a very, very talented lady, and she knows that, and I know that she has a tremendous following. That this is a good thing that she's doing this. And I might add, actually, in talking about this, this is something that I feel that I should do too, along the lines that, not to take away from your question, but to get out into the public is very important with what you're doing. If you believe in what you're doing, Freddie, you cannot not listen to her voice. It's beautiful. And I'm feeling that I should follow a similar pattern and get it out there, because it's important, these messages, be it through song, be it through music.
Well, I want to do something different at this concert.
Okay.
I want to do more of a call to action where the audience is going to be more involved. And I'm trying to figure out how that will work, because I have to deal with that personality, her personality, and the studio audience personality. It's going to be a different approach to it.
Okay. I'm getting kind of, funnily enough, a mixed message here, because what she did the last time, I mean, she may have done other ones, I don't know, with the screen behind her, with the music and the singing, was beautiful.
That's still the same.
Absolutely beautiful. What I'm feeling, and I'm going to bring this slightly to myself, what we visualize sometimes comes about. So, are we okay with the camera? Yeah? Okay. So, I'm feeling, because I feel a connection with this, and this is what I want to do, to interact with an audience. So some of the messages, Freddie, that you're getting at this particular time is for her to do what she's doing, because I believe it was magical. For me, if I do the same thing with an audience, we have to interact. So you can do whatever it is, be it with her, be it with me or somebody else. Interacting with an audience is good, but her singing is so great with the screen behind her. For me personally, I think that she shouldn't change anything. I think it's great the way it is.
Good point. Okay.
I'm just feeling that. For myself, if I'm to stand up on the stage, and I've had, as you know too, Steve, for people, and Marita certainly knows, I've had a premonition with, and it's funny because it's going to be in a movie theater, with my artwork behind me as I'm giving messages on a screen. Well, that's coming about. If I should do the same thing, I will have my artwork going on a screen. I'm going to stop for 1 second. I'm getting, okay. Okay, we have a call, so that was perfect timing. Hello?
Hello, Sally. How are you? It's Peter.
Okay, my psychic abilities, who is it? This is Pete, right? Okay.
This is Pete, your psychic ability.
Okay, Pete. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Your voice sounds great. I got
Thank
a
you.
question for you to do with time travel. Called you up about 3 months about that. I got a new question for you. Are you ready?
I'm absolutely ready.
Okay, when people go into death, they sometimes don't leave the planet. They get caught in between. With time travel, if people are getting caught in the time travel, going back and forth, what kind of a dimension do you think they're sitting in, being in between?
Okay, this is absolutely very, I'm not going to say strange that you're asking me this, and if Marita is listening, we actually were discussing this the other day. This is a question I actually was asking myself, and I wanted the answer. It depends. I was listening to something that she sent me, which was really good, and it's about, also when we transition, we go back, let's say, into spirit. This is a little deep, but it made a lot of sense to me. So my question was, if we're not quite ready and we're in between, do we go to another planet to learn more? I'm actually, I need to go into this a little bit more. I believe when we transition, we're on a learning experience, so we go where we're needed. So even, and I don't want to offend anybody that's lost loved ones, we want to think they're in spirit. But I also think, so to speak, that we're not in limbo, we're somewhere else. Because some people, and again, this is just my point of view, I can't prove any of this, okay? Just to make that disclosure, that we are sometimes ready in our time, there is no such thing as time, to come back immediately. So we kind of, as my guide used to say, he called it the bardo, where we meet people, where we go through what we're wanting to do, and we can come back in our time more or less immediately. Now, if we want to learn more from the other side, from another dimension, in our time we stay there a little longer. So would we call that time travel? I don't know, but I think it's kind of in a way answering your question. Can you repeat a little bit of this, Pete, because it's very important?
Yeah, first of all, I think your answer was fantastic. That was the best answer I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you.
And the question again is, just like in death, some people don't leave this planet. They get caught in between the next dimension and the planet Earth.
Yes.
In time travel, if they're getting caught, anybody's getting caught in between, where do you think they land?
Okay, this is good because I believe there is no time. So let's visualize no time. So everything is happening all at once at the same time. So if we want to take ourselves back, and it's very hard for our mind, our brain to comprehend this. I don't, I'm just giving the messages. But we can go back into time or we can go forward. I always believe that where we are right now, and this is what my guide Aldo used to tell me, is what we're experiencing now in our now is our core existence. However, who knows where we go in our sleep? Who knows when we're daydreaming? So there are different places and planets that we do go to. We only remember, and this is what I'm hearing right now, where we are right now. We're remembering everything here from this dimension with what's going on with my show, what happened yesterday. It's all in this dimension. That doesn't mean to say that we don't go to alternative universes, that we don't travel in time. We all do this simultaneously. It's difficult, very difficult for our mind to understand. However, the people that have grown into this more and understand more, they can comprehend it better than we can in our 3D dimension. Does that help a little bit?
Very interesting. Now, something you just said about that really keyed me into another question for you.
Okay.
Going back, forward or backwards and being caught, or just going forward and backward, is it possible in your mind that our personality or the dimension of our body split into a twin to be in two places at one time?
My immediate answer to that, Pete, is yes. I had heard that before, and Aldo, I haven't spoken too much to you about, my friend Aldo that was here, who understand that. We are actually, and this is really confusing, and certainly for me too, is that we are in different places in our now at the same time. Can our mind, our brain understand that? Absolutely not. But if you listen to people, they will say the same thing. It's all, and Marita, if you're listening, and I would love your input too, we are in different places. We just don't know that. We can't overcrowd our own mind because our brain would say, what are you talking about? But I truly believe that. I believe that we're somewhere else. We have a split. We have another extension of ourselves. The reason that Aldo talked to me about this is if we're ready to open up and listen to this and understand, it's a quicker way of learning in this particular lifetime if we're following something else from another point of view, so to speak, from another person. Very difficult. I think I'm going to stop there because it's very difficult to understand. But thank you very much, Pete,
Yeah,
for the question. I appreciate that.
Yeah, those answers you gave were fantastic. And don't forget to give out your email there, Sally.
I will. Thank you very much, Pete. Have a great day. Okay, back to the studio. Thank you.
So Zena, Sally, Marita says, I'm feeling that also. Your heart knows, not the mind.
Yes, exactly, Marita. We know that too. Yes, because our mind, as you well know, when we talk, and I've talked just to explain who Marita is, way before I even really understood as much as I do how we came about. We became friends like 22, 23 years ago. And she has, at that time, would ask me questions. I didn't know I could do that, just the same as maybe she didn't know that she was going to give me the correct questions. But I used to do this for many years with her. I'm only as good as my question, and she had the questions and I had the answers. So we've communicated many years doing this, but we're doing it more again now, and I thank you for that. I can't remember the question now, but I got off track.
If everyone has a guardian or guardians, an angel, an archangel, walking guides, then how come so many bad things happen to some people?
Well, it's the same as here. We don't always listen, first of all, but secondly, and you know, we don't believe it. They can be talking to us, we think we're daydreaming. And we are here to learn. So if everything was going our way, and we wouldn't learn from that. It's actually really simple, but it's complicated, if that makes sense. If everything was all positive, which we were talking about before, how will we know or how will we learn? So we're here, just again, this is my point of view, we're playing a game. It's like we're producers of our own play. So if everything was going smoothly, probably wouldn't be that enjoyable. So we have to have the negativity. But the key to this, and that's what we were talking before with Freddie, is the balance on all this. We have to have balance. The thing to do is, as Aldo used to tell me, observe this. So again, what we put out, we attract. So let's put out positivity. Positivity is not always going to be positive, but the negative is important. But then you get the gratitude when you get the positivity for something that happened. You can say, I know why that happened. Now I have this gratitude for it happening to me. Do I want to go through that situation again? No, I do not. However, if you haven't learned, and I truly believe this, you will go through that situation again. Now, again, if you're getting a lot of negativity, stand back. It could be from people, places, or things. Take a breath and say, what is going on? If it's a person with negativity, and I'm learning this, you step away. If it's a place that you feel uncomfortable about being in, and it's not always easy to do this, but as long as you're aware of this, you can only want so much negativity to learn. So keep an open eye. Be aware that this is going on. Don't always walk into the negativity, so to speak. That's what they're telling me. Be careful. If it's someone that you don't want to be with, or it's a place you feel uncomfortable with, don't walk into that situation. You don't have to be completely out of it, but be aware that something's going on, because I definitely feel vibrations. I'm an empath. And as a child even, if someone had been in my bedroom, I would say, how do I know someone's been in here? I don't know, but it was something that I could feel. And any people that have that feeling know what I'm talking about. And it's not always a good thing, because it can affect you. You know, if someone's hurting, I feel that. So any empaths that are listening to my show right now, try to step back a little bit and assess the situation yourself.
Linda, Marita says she was told that Zena can do this.
That's true.
And Linda says, what about people getting serious illnesses?
Well, that goes by, this is part of life. We all, unfortunately, we do, well, not for, we pass at a certain time. We have to pass from something. So be it at a younger age, there is no real answer to that. We have to have that negativity in order to carry on with another lifetime. So if I can't say we choose serious illnesses. Every illness can be serious if it leads into passing and transition. You now say that person had a serious illness. It could be the flu. So I don't have an answer really to that. It's up to us to try and interpret that slightly.
Up until recently, I used to, feel that way. Why is this happening? Why am I ill? Why did I get that 5 years ago? Why do I have this now? But now I'm learning and I'm understanding that gratitude is part of this, and all the people that have stood behind me and wished me well and been there for me and wanting me to get better. So gratitude is a very, very big part of the lesson, I think.
Absolutely, Steve. And who knows why we choose certain lessons, because if we're learning something and we're going through it, we don't always know. But sometimes when we come out from the other side of that, we begin to say, oh, that was all leading to that. Now I have the gratitude because I've seen the negativity and I'm now seeing the positivity.
I'm not trying to suggest that I'm grateful that these things have happened to me.
No, but that's with anybody
for the
that's had
responses around me.
Right, because we're generalizing that. But with anybody, when you're going through something and you come out of it and your mind is more like the gratitude, oh, I'm glad that, people say, oh, I'm so glad that part is over in my life. Well, if you haven't learned from it, and I'm hearing them telling me this now, you may go through that again. The key is to learn from it.
Okay, I've learned. I don't want to go through it.
Well, yeah, well, we all say that, but you've truly got to feel that with inside of you. Many things I've said, I've had enough of this. I don't want to go through it again. I've come out of it. But you know what? Talking from personal experience, I've done the same thing again. Am I choosing that, or is it my guide? I'm being helped. So if I choose to go through that similar situation again, I have to trust my judgment now and learn from it, because obviously I haven't if I'm going through it again. And I think okay, we're going to break for a commercial. Anybody that's there that wants to write in or call in, please call in, okay? And call me Zena. My story starts at 4 or 5 years old. My name is Sally Bernard, and I was born at the end of the Second World War, in the middle of an air raid siren going off. My parents were in a movie theater, and my mother went into labor. My father ran out of the movie theater, but there was no cabs to be available because everybody is running for cover. However, they found one, and the taxi driver was given the address to take my father and my mother to the hospital. As my mother was in labor, about a half an hour, I arrived at exactly midnight. I think I was fed messages at a very early age. My parents used to like to play cards, and they had a card game every Wednesday or Thursday night at home when I was a baby. And I actually said to them one day, why do you keep waking me up at night? The card game is waking me up, and I can't get back to sleep so quickly. And they looked at each other and they said, we're not really waking her up. They were quite away from my bedroom. And they called in a psychic to say, what in the world is going on? And the psychic said that I'm getting many messages that are waking me up at night. I thought whatever I was experiencing, other people were experiencing too. You don't know until you realize that you are different. Many things were happening to me, things that were unexplainable to me. What I had dreamt was happening. I could sense many things, and the things that I was sensing were coming about, but something was going on. I will explain to you everything. You're ready.
A true story, Call Me Zena is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book and artwork by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Now back to the show.
Hi, we're back. We're back. Questions? Anything? Call in. Talk to me.
Can you walk in a room and feel different energies, even if nobody's in the room?
Yes. I mean, I feel it more when there are people in the room, but absolutely I can feel energies. I think I'd mentioned when I used to go as a child, into my bedroom. I remember that. Once I'm here, I can remember what I said when I'm in this state. I used to feel somebody or something had been in that room. So we have another one. Okay. What's
I understand the mind suffers. We are not the mind.
Thank you, Marita. Yes, we're absolutely not the mind. The mind does suffer, and the mind continues to talk to us. But you know what? We have to, I guess, overcome that by, as Aldo used to say to me, I got another question I can't say.
Okay,
let me just, I
to
need,
me.
okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Marita. What was Marita's question?
The mind suffers.
Yes, we have to put the mind aside slightly, actually. It's hard, but once we begin to understand that, as Aldo used to say to me, observe it as a third party. The actual mind is it's another entity, so to speak, of us. This is getting a little deep again, and I tried to make it a little lighter, even for me to understand. But our mind rules us. Our mind has control over us, and we need a mind, otherwise we can't function here. But sometimes let's step aside and let our true, like coming from our heart, how would we handle that the situation, whatever it may be? And we actually have all the answers. We don't know that we have. So let's maybe put it aside for a little bit. Stop thinking. That's the only way that I can think about it, the way to explain it. And let your imagination take over, because our imagination gives us many ideas. Does that make sense?
Then how do we learn a lesson?
By experience and going
How do
through
we?
it.
Yeah, but how do we stop repeating
Well,
the same mistake over and over?
That's a perfect question and a great question, Freddie. And it's easy, but it's difficult. Because if we haven't learned, we are here to learn. So let's say we keep, you know that saying, we keep doing something and we keep repeating that something. Eventually, it becomes ridiculous because we keep going through it. So what's the best thing to do? Let's learn from what our mistakes were. So to stop that happening, as best that I know, we have to put, if the same situation keeps coming up and we're doing the same things, although it's a different scenario, let's step back and say, well, how can I now do this differently? It happened this way, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe a year ago. I don't want to keep repeating it. We have to be aware that we're repeating the same thing.
It's like going to the post office 5 times in one day and putting the wrong numbers.
Well, I'm very glad that you brought that up. I wasn't about to, but since you mentioned that, yes, because if you haven't learned from that, and you can correct it. Actually, on a serious point of view, you had told the story, and not too many people might know that, but you were putting a wrong address down. So, okay, you can change that. But let's just say this had been something a little, I'm not making light of that, it was silly, but you had to do it, you went through it. But let's say it had been a little more serious. You have to stop doing the same thing that keeps bothering you, or something that you know in your mind, this is silly, why am I doing it? Step back question yourself, and let's use that as an example because you can change it, and say, why was that happening? Why? You were maybe, and we're all guilty of this, and me especially, I'm not concentrating sometimes, or I'm writing the wrong thing down. I'm dyslexic, so that does happen. I'm aware of my dyslexia, and I've definitely helped myself over the years with this. But we have to step back and say why, and we do say this often, does this keep happening to us, me, you? How many times do we say that? Think about it. We say every time we make that same mistake, why does this keep happening? Because we're not changing anything. Be aware. Awareness is very important. Awareness is very, very important.
Sally, what type of energy happens between us? As you well know, we can be sitting in the living room and I'll say something that you were just thinking about a second ago, and it happens not once, not twice, but over and over and over again. It's like we're reading each other's minds. What causes that to happen?
Well, you know what? It happens more than we realize. We're more verbal because we see that. But many people are, and a very good example, you can be thinking about somebody and the phone goes. How many times has that happened? You're thinking about that particular person. We're sitting together, and because I'm more aware and have made you more aware of that, we voice what happened. But very often you'll say to someone, or you say in your mind, I was just thinking that, and they just said it. It happens to everybody. We're just not aware of it. So the more you begin to understand this, the more that you're aware that this can happen. It's a form of telepathy. And I started listening again to YouTube and some of these programs because I've learned from personal experience sometimes things. But, I got carried away. Okay, again, can you just put me on the right track?
Our minds thinking the same thing.
Okay, yeah, it happens, but we verbalize it. So it happens to all of us, everybody. And a good example is the telephone, or we're just talking about someone and they'll call, or you'll get a message or a text now from that person. How does that happen? Because it's telepathy. And telepathy, I know what I was going to say, on a planet, and I believe there are many planets, so people that might wonder what I'm talking about, I do believe this. There are planets that are around us that have a higher, let's say, on a higher dimension. And this is what I was listening to the other day. They actually only talk with telepathy because they've reached a certain stage that they understand this. They don't communicate the same as us. How am I getting these messages? They're talking to me, but I don't hear them. I hear them through telepathy. So I can really say that this is what's happening to me. It's telepathy. So it's the same thing. I can read your mind.
And vice versa.
Vice versa, yes.
So we started talking earlier today about messages from guides. The ones that are here with you now, you were telling me that messages come to people in dreams. Specifically, they come to me in my dreams. What if we don't remember our dreams, or how do we interpret those messages?
Well, most of us don't. Even people that are psychic or have these abilities, we all have it, but I'm just saying the people that are verbalizing that they have it and are understanding it. For some reason, we don't remember all our dreams, because I'm sure we dream much more than we realize. But the important messages, and I believe I just gave that to you, Dawn, because I got the name of your guide, is to write it down. When I was writing my book on my travels, I couldn't understand what was happening to me, but I remembered every single thing when I first woke up. And I wrote it down in detail of where I had gone, what was said to me, what I saw. But that was slightly different because I was astral projecting. However, I didn't know that's what I was doing. But we can all do that. The moment, keep a pad beside you. And I'm the last person to do that. I hate to think, oh gosh, I'm going to have to write it down in the middle of the night. But I did it when I was astral projecting. I recommend that for anybody, because sometimes when we wake up, we remember, and we can actually get back into that dream. If it was something that we were really enjoying, when you go back and to sleep, say, I want to carry on with that dream. And we do. Can I explain how that happens? No, but can I explain all of this? Not really. I'm just telling you what I feel. And I did give you the message for you to do that, because your guide came through with the name, and he did say to me, and just to mention to viewers, I'm not looking at that camera and I know I'm meant to. Viewers they're saying, oh my gosh, when I bring myself back, I totally forget what I'm talking about. Can you just remind me?
My archangel, what he
Oh,
told
yes,
you.
your archangel came through, and he is giving you messages, definitely giving you messages, and he's telling me to tell you that they can actually, and I think I said this to you, wake us up, because it's something that we want to know. Write it down, please. And you said this is the second time that someone said that to you within a week, right? You are getting important messages from your guide, your archangel. How else would I have got his name? He needed to tell you, and he has things to tell you. Write down. You will remember it. They'll wake you up, and you'll write it down. So keep a pad beside you.
Okay.
I'm looking at the right camera now, right?
And we had someone in here today, and she opened up a bag of something which had another guide's name on it.
There you go. That's how they show us. Because, you know, we can pass things off and say, ah, that was coincidence. But you know what? When you start to suddenly see that maybe this isn't all coincidental, you'll see so many things all the time. Names, people, places, and things. They show themselves. They show them from when you've transitioned people that want to give us messages. You'll see the initials on a car. I'm getting definite validation here now from a siren. We've seen that many times, Steve, as you can attest to. My guide, Aldo, this has been incredible the last few weeks, how he's been coming to me. He obviously has a lot of messages for me, but I cannot deny this. Just turning on the radio and a song comes through that he knows that I will relate to, that it's him.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Something is going on outside here. Is it outside here or along the street?
I think it's right out here.
Okay.
It sounds like
But
it's right
we'll
out
leave
here.
Freddie to go out. We'll just, because we still have a little ways to go.
So what does Elizabeth have to say?
Elizabeth is definitely around you, because didn't we open up something that there is something?
Yeah, it was a bag of something today.
Yeah, with Elizabeth. So she's here to, you're getting all sorts of messages. It's hard to concentrate a little bit because I'm hearing the sirens. I hope it's nothing that bad.
They're going to find out. What does she have to say?
She's here with you. She's protecting you, as your archangel is doing too.
Maybe
This
that's
is-
why they're
this is
letting me know they're
live,
all here
okay?
to protect
so I don't
us.
know what's going on. Just to tell, and I think they've disappeared now. They're going. It's okay, whatever it is. Hopefully, Freddie shows himself back in the studio right now. Okay, so they're here around you. There is something important that they want to tell you, Dawn. It's an important message. I'm getting a little distracted from the sirens, but hopefully, and blessings to whatever is going on. Just let's send good vibrations out right now. Hopefully, it's nothing. I don't know, but we'll continue. The show goes on.
But we don't know what the message is. We just know there is a message.
No, I don't know. I think it's something about, they're saying the road less traveled. That's my message. I'm getting goosebumps. There's something that you're meant to be doing. This is very difficult with the sirens. There's something that you're meant to be doing. Do it. Are we okay? Is everything okay? A fire in the next building?
In the next bay over? I mean,
It's
the next
not
lot?
here. Okay. Thank you. Just to let our viewers know, unfortunately,
there's
it's
a
a
fire in
fire.
the parking lot.
It's a fire truck, so we are safe. Okay, so let's.
Maybe they let us know ahead of time that they're protecting us, that we're good. They came early today.
Okay, they did. And I feel that definitely the message for you, and I'm feeling it very strongly now, the road less traveled is a road that you are following, actually, not meant to follow, but you haven't continued with the journey. You continue with that journey. In other words, let's simplify it. You're on the right track. Your thoughts, your imagination is what you're meant to be doing. Don't lose track of the messages that are coming to you along the way, or the people that are coming into your life right now. That was interesting that they said the road less traveled. I appreciate that because I'm understanding it more. Continue with what you're doing, which you are, and know that there is a meaning behind of all this. Sometimes we're on a road and we can't see the ending. We're doing this and we're doing this, but there is an ending, and that ending is what you're meant to be doing. It's a new beginning. I don't know if this is making sense.
So let
to
me
you.
ask you, because this is what I'd be telling to ask you. We've started a foundation, for the Amp Media Futures Foundation, to fund stipends for our crew that come forward to help with Futures in Education, teaching our youth about media. I'm wondering what's the next step to that, and is this the road less traveled? Because you don't hear of this often.
Well, I feel that it is because it's come to your mind right away, and you know that we have this, that you can do this too, and that your archangel's been around you, so you know that you're being guided into this. Yes, I feel that this is definitely, you're on the right track for what you're doing. I'm sorry if I'm not.
We gotta go. Shut it
You
down.
gotta go? All right.
Okay, thank you.